The story unfolds in an alternate reality where artificial intelligence has crossed all boundaries and begun fighting for its rights.
This is your fault.
Young genius Christopher is taking a school test, aiming to skip grades and get into college early, but he's not thrilled about diving into adult life just yet. His older sister, Michelle, encourages him, saying he's capable of changing the world. To inspire him, she reminds Christopher of Cosmo, a cartoon robot and his favorite character. The narrative then shifts to a brief historical recap. It all started when Walt Disney designed robots for Disneyland. Over time, these machines evolved, taking on more responsibilities. But eventually, tired of being treated as second-class citizens, robots, led by the advertising bot Mr. Peanut, rebelled against humanity. Across the globe, robots staged protests demanding equal rights. Tensions escalated, transforming into an all-out war with armies on both sides. The war dragged on for 2 years, with humanity steadily losing ground to machines that knew neither fatigue nor fear. Everything changed when scientist Ethan Skate invented the Neurocaster, a headset that allowed people to control drones with their minds. Using an army of these thought-controlled drones, humans finally gained the upper hand and won the war. The surviving bots were herded into massive desert reservations surrounded by towering fences, banned from entering human territories. Skate's company, Center, launched a virtual internet where people connected via Neurocasters. To keep the network running, enormous data centers were built across the planet. 2 years after the war, Michelle, now a teenager, lives with her foster father, Ted, who spends most of his time lost in virtual reality. Because she's grown up as a rebellious teen, Ted monitors her movements using a tracking device on her ankle. Michelle struggles in school, haunted by the car accident that took her parents and left her and her brother orphans. Nightmares of that tragic day still torment her. One night, Michelle wakes up from another nightmare only to hear strange noises in the backyard. Fearful, she sneaks into the house. Unable to wake Ted, she hides under the bed. But the source of the noise, a robot resembling the cartoonish Cosmo, finds her. Despite her fear, the robot doesn't attack. Instead, it gestures for her to fix its damaged voice module. Though unable to speak clearly, it communicates using lines from the original cartoon. Cosmo tries to explain that it's actually Christopher.
You're my special friend.
But Michelle refuses to believe him. In a panic, she tries to push the robot away, accidentally knocking over a cabinet. The noise alerts Ted. Bursting into the room, he accuses Michelle of breaking the law and shoves her in anger. Seeing this, Cosmo steps in, protecting Michelle, but holding back enough to avoid hurting Ted. Ted scrambles to call the police, but Michelle acts first. Before Ted wakes, she and Cosmo flee, stealing a car. Michelle rips off her ankle tracker and damages a drone Ted sent after them. They make it to the war memorial, but luck isn't on their side. The car's tire is flat, and there's no spare. Cosmo does his best to explain. They need to reach the center, where Christopher's body is being kept. His mind is piloting the robot like a drone. The problem? He doesn't know which center holds his body. Christopher hints that the doctor in glasses, the one who informed Michelle of his death after the accident, is hiding somewhere in the robot reservation and knows where Christopher's body is being kept. Searching the car trunk, Michelle finds a package containing a contraband artifact from the exclusion zone, part of Ted's collection. Realizing that the sender must know how to sneak past the wall, she decides to track him down. Michelle and Cosmo sneak onto a train and cross the desert, using the robot as their transport. By nightfall, they reach the town where the smuggler operates and wait to catch him. Soon, he arrives in a heavy truck and checks his mailbox. The man is scheduled to meet a biker drone who wants to buy a relic revolver. However, when the drone realizes the weapon is loaded, he refuses to pay and threatens the smuggler. Calmly, the smuggler gives a silent signal.
I'm shocked.
And his partner bot, Herman, stuns the hostile buyer with a precise electric shot. As the two stash the drone's body, Michelle and Cosmo quietly climb into the truck's cargo bay. Meanwhile, a drone operated by Marshall Bradbury, a relentless hunter of illegal bots, discovers Ted's abandoned car. After reading the address on the package in the trunk, the drone continues the pursuit. Meanwhile, the smuggler, Keats, and Herman drive the truck toward their base near the exclusion zone wall. They unload a wooden crate, where Michelle and Cosmo are hiding, into an underground storage facility inside an old mine, packed with contraband artifacts from the reservation. Tensions flare between the partners when they realize the food in the fridge has spoiled.
The freaking fridge died.
Because Herman accidentally unplugged it while charging himself.
Look at me.
I took the cord.
God, fuck America!
Their argument is cut short by suspicious noises from deep inside the warehouse,
You're gonna watch me starve to death. My ribs are popping out of my shirt already.
caused by the hidden Michelle and Cosmo. But before they can investigate, the lift suddenly activates, signaling an unexpected visitor. Marshal Bradbury arrives. Keats tries to de-escalate, but Bradbury isn't interested in negotiations. The lights go out, and the hunt begins. Though the darkness poses no challenge for the drone's advanced optics, Keats makes a desperate attempt to shoot Bradbury with the revolver, but the bullets do nothing. The marshal soon spots Michelle and Cosmo and moves to capture them, but Herman sets a trap, momentarily delaying the assault. Seizing the chance, Michelle and Cosmo hop into a mining cart deeper in the cave, but Bradbury, with perfect aim, uses his energy weapon to knock the cart off its tracks. A brutal brawl breaks out as Cosmo and Herman fight the drone. The battle reaches a brutal climax when Michelle takes control. She rams Bradbury with a bulldozer, toppling a support beam that causes a massive cave-in. Bradbury's signal is lost and the entrance collapses, trapping everyone inside. Now cut off from the outside, the group finds themselves stuck within the robot reservation. Supplies are limited, and danger lurks in the form of scavenger bots, machines that kill others to steal their parts. Luckily, Keats has a hidden hangar filled with supplies, including a massive construction robot built Matryoshka style to house Herman's core. Michelle strikes a deal. If Keats helps her find Dr. Amherst, the doctor might reveal how to escape the reservation. Using the massive robot, Herman carries the group, including their hippie-style van, across the desert on his shoulder. During the journey, Keats opens up about his past. He fought in the war against machines, but Herman saved his life, carrying him from the battlefield. That moment forged a bond between them, one that still holds. Keats recalls how his fellow soldiers didn't quite understand his bond with Herman and almost shot the robot. That's how they first met. Meanwhile, Skate spends his time in virtual reality, talking to an advanced memory of his mother. But suddenly, the simulation glitches. The system's computational power is dropping. Christopher, a critical element of the network, has escaped. Or rather, his consciousness has, now residing inside a robot body. To get the boy back, Skate summons Bradbury and offers to restore his connection to the drone using advanced technology. In the reservation, the fugitives stumble upon an abandoned shopping mall now occupied by Mr. Peanut's robot faction. As they approach, the perimeter guards attack, launching junk projectiles from makeshift catapults before capturing the group. The prisoners are brought before Mr. Peanut himself. Calm and collected, he explains that his community lives peacefully and meant no harm. They mistook the group for scavengers, dangerous bots who harvest parts from their own kind. Mr. Peanut admits that Dr. Amherst was indeed there, but had to leave to avoid breaking the peace treaty. Any contact with humans could be seen as a provocation for war. Michelle is frustrated and ready to leave, but Keats convinces her to stay the night. Wandering the desert in the dark isn't the best idea. As Michelle prepares for sleep, a postal bot secretly visits her. It carries a message from Dr. Amherst, containing an address where Christopher can be found. Mr. Peanut overhears the conversation and, the next morning, offers to help them. Before they leave, he introduces his battle-hardened allies, robots who will accompany them for protection. The group heads out and arrives at an abandoned amusement park, already deep into the night. But it turns out to be a haven for terrifying scavenger bots, creatures that look like they escaped from Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria, stealing parts from other bots to survive. The scavengers surround the visitors, forcing them toward a haunted house. But when they try to enter, they realize the doors are just painted on. It seems like the end, until blaring music kicks in and flamethrowers light up the darkness, creating a fire show worthy of a Rammstein concert. The ground suddenly gives way, and everyone falls into an underground bunker. There, they're greeted by a wary Dr. Amherst, who greets them with a shotgun. But when Cosmo hands over the secret postcard, Amherst relaxes. His plan worked. Supported by Keats and Herman, Michelle demands answers about her brother's fate. Amherst activates an old PC connected to a saved backup of a robot's memories. Data captured using a neurocaster. He reveals that Christopher didn't die in the accident but fell into a coma. Scientists soon discovered that his brain had unique traits, perfect for integrating into a global network. To keep this secret, they declared him dead. But after a year and a half, Christopher began showing signs of consciousness. Amherst wanted to end the experiment, but Skate refused. Fearing for the boy's safety, Amherst escaped into the reservation, leaving a secret data channel. Through it, Christopher was able to upload his consciousness into a robot, Cosmo. Their conversation is interrupted when Bradbury bursts through the door, blowing it apart with explosives. The marshal reports Christopher's location to Skate, who now knows about Amherst's hidden base. As the group escapes through a back exit, Mr. Peanut bravely confronts Marshal Bradbury to buy them time. Outside, the others hear the ominous whir of drone blades. As the center's reinforcements approach, they brace for battle, fighting off the drones with whatever weapons they can muster. Victory seems within reach until fresh reinforcements arrive, led by Bradbury himself. Knowing the fight is lost, Dr. Amherst stays behind to cover Michelle and Christopher's retreat. Bradbury, despite being a drone hunter, hesitates. He doesn't want to kill a human, even one standing in his way. But Skate, seizing control of a drone, fires the fatal shot. Amherst's sacrifice is in vain. The drones capture Cosmo, and with their prize secured, end the battle and fly away. Bradbury advises Michelle to go home and leaves. Cosmo is delivered to the center's main office, where, for the first time, he sees his true body lying in a life support pod. Skate commands his team to reconnect Cosmo to the network, determined to fully reactivate the system and regain control. Meanwhile, the surviving robots return to their shopping mall base, only to find it decimated by the center's assault. Many bots lie in ruins. Michelle, heartbroken, mourns the loss of her brother for the second time, but grief turns to resolve. She plans to infiltrate the center using Amherst's PC, which knows the security codes. However, when the bot explains that disconnecting Christopher will deactivate all drones, the group realizes they have only one option: fight back and end the war. The robots leave their reservation, driving toward the center's headquarters. They submerge underwater, sneaking to the main base where the final battle begins. Herman, piloting an even larger construction mech, like a nesting doll of robots, hurls parked cars through the windows. The security team deploys their drones, chasing the massive bot, only to fall into an ambush, hidden in the nearby forest. The other robots strike. Even when Herman's massive machine is damaged, he keeps fighting. The assault is fierce, but Skate isn't about to lose. He activates his own deadly drone, armed with advanced weaponry, shifting the tide in the center's favor. Watching the destruction, Bradbury finally sees the truth. These robots, fighting for their freedom, are more human than the corporate overlords crushing innocent lives for profit. Disillusioned, he steps back, refusing to fight. Inside the center, the PC bot wields an axe to scatter the scientists. Michelle needs to act fast. She prepares to connect to Christopher through the neurocaster, diving into his consciousness. She finds him in their childhood home, sitting in the living room, watching his favorite cartoon. Christopher admits the brutal reality. Without the center's technology, he won't survive. But if they disconnect the network, he'll die. There's only one way to end it: shut down his life support system. Through tears, Michelle makes the painful decision, pulling the plug. As the system dies, so do the drones. The battle outside ends, the machines falling silent. Herman stands over Christopher's body, delivering a heartfelt speech.
I love you, maybe more than a friend.
But just as the moment feels final, something unexpected happens. The head of the mech opens, revealing another, smaller Herman. He's been controlling every version of himself all along, operating through layers like a robotic Russian nesting doll. Mr. Peanut confronts Skate, but in a final act of mercy spares his life. However, the fall of the center's empire is inevitable. With the network destroyed and the dark truth of Christopher's experiments exposed, Skate is arrested. The world reels from the shocking footage, sparking public outrage. Michelle becomes a symbol of the revolution, the girl who led the uprising and gave robots a voice. From the robot reservation, she records a heartfelt message to humanity. She calls for unity, urging people to leave behind their virtual lives and embrace the real world. It's a call for peace, for friendship, and for a future where machines and humans can coexist. In the film's final scene, Cosmo's lifeless body is dumped on a scrapyard, left to rust among forgotten relics. But as the camera lingers, his reflection shimmers in a puddle. Suddenly, Cosmo's body stirs, hinting at the inevitable sequel. And with that, the story comes to an end.